Hello and welcome everyone to another beautiful golden interview. And the golden interview series continues today with another very special guest. We have a guest who's joining us from all over, all the way across the globe in Brazil. We have with us Larissa Sanchez, who is also a golden period educator who focuses on children, who focuses on the golden period exclusively and about conscious beings, about conscious children, and everything else attached to it. Larissa, welcome, and it's good to have you here.
Shivam Rajanji, I'm very honored to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Let's start with what made you think of, the spirit child, conscious parenting, and all of that. Because I would like to know the story, and I'm sure a lot of other people would like to know it as well.
Yes, well, I think it comes from my own childhood, where I was that child who asked, why I'm here, where did I came from, what I'm supposed to do here. And, like my parents were like, oh my God. So I started actually, to like knock my head in the wall, asking all this question. And after some years, it started with 7 years old. After some years, my parents took me to the doctor, like a psychiatrist. And after 30 minutes of conversation, he started, of course, like, with his paper. I don't know how to say this in English, but, he started to write some anxiolytics and some medicines. And I was like, I don't want like the happy pills. I want to understand why I'm feeling all this. I want to know how to answer my questions. And he asked my parents, to be in the room. And he said, if she doesn't take the pills, I won't see her as her doctor. And for years, it was like a very discussion in my family, like about allopathy, about medicine, about spirituality, about feelings, but it was like all mixed. And when so many years later, when I was finally thinking about getting pregnant, I started to relate like some visions, some, I don't know how to describe, because I don't know if it's our voices, if are really images, but it's some communication from the other side. I started actually, to feel that there was a cosmic being ready to be, conceived. And I actually told my husband at that time that I was feeling that it was the time. I actually heard a voice, I'm ready to be conceived. And he said that he didn't hear anything, but he was feeling that it was the time. And then in Brazil, we have a lot of groups where we talk about, they call here like human birth, but it's very weird for me, this term, because of course we are human, right? But is so different or distant from what it is supposed to be that there are groups telling what to do to have like a respectful birth, right? And we are joining these groups, and people are always speaking about violence, about how not to tell the due date for your family, but then you don't get like pressure. So when the baby is gonna be born and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, is somebody, will talk about communication, like in the womb? Do you actually, dream with your baby? Do you speak with your baby? And people look at me like, who is this girl? Yeah, but I was always very sensitive, but so continued the conversation with baby. And then I actually found a group who was speaking about this, like the sentient and conscious being in the womb, and how many ways that you can actually, interact with your baby in the womb. And it was very amazing. And another thing that happened was that I didn't want Mario to be in the birth date, actually, because I know that he's very anxious. And I was like, I think he's gonna, I don't know. I was feeling that I was not going to be comfortable with him. And this is not something that I'm proud today, but at that time I thought that it was not going to be nice. And then I saw that, the power of our thoughts and what we are actually co-creating life. Because then when I actually the labor started, he was not here. He was in Manaus, that is like 10,000 kilometers from where I live, working. And I was, oh my God, what I did, right? So she was born without his presence. Who was with me was my twin sister. That it's another being that, remember every day about this conscious or this spiritual thing that it's with everyone. It's not something that it's only for GPE, it's only for people who are mystic. It's not about this, right? And after she was born, that it was an intense experience where I thought, oh my God, I can do anything after this. I wanted to continue talking about this and not about, only the labor, the birth, or the physical stuff, but I wanted people to know that there is something else. So I actually started doing the APAS course, that is the Association of Pre and Perinatal Psychology and Health in the USA. And when I went there in 2017 to a congress, I met Babaji. And when I saw at that time, he was in the Omni Future, that now it's called Sanatan Life's Academy, right? And they are doing a lot of events over there. And I was like amazed how to join something that is ancient, right? And about in the modern science at the same time. And my father is a scientist, was a scientist. So for me, it was amazing. Join something that I feel all the time. And at the same time, the see to believe.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was amazing. I was like, oh my God, I want to know more. I want to bring this to Brazil. I want to show people that there is another part of the pregnancy and even before the pregnancy that we can do, to start this relationship with a cosmic being. And that's when I actually sent them an email to know more about, and I had the opportunity to go through the both part with the only modern sciences with the APAS course, and with the modern science joined the ancient wisdom with Omni Future. And it was an amazing path. At the time, Olivia was 3 years old. And it was amazing that even that she was already 3 years old, Babaji guided me to do some activities with her that, she's 10 today and she still remembers a lot of things that we did together. So it was very nice. And Olivia is also very sensitive, like she knows when something is gonna happen. She has this big power of co-creating everything. I mean, it's so amazing. We all have, right? But we
yeah,
don't
we do.
use that. So that's so amazing. And 8 years after her birth, we decided to have another kid, or this kid decided that we needed to be parents again. And now I'm in this second path of the maternity that it's really amazing, because then when I am doing with the parents as a GPE, Golden Period Educator, I had the opportunity to do since the conception to Enrique, that it's my second child. So it's a
That's really
beautiful
amazing.
story.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
wonderful story. And thank you for sharing that story with us. And you remember it so beautifully. And I think there are so many people who are going to benefit from it. Let me just try and bring in another aspect here, about your connection or your interaction and your idea of the world of Sanatana Dharma, and how has that been?
This is one of the questions that I receive all the time, like, why are you related with this? What Sanatanas actually means to you, right? But one of the things that to me that makes a lot of sense that Bharata brings something that is not from India. It's for every human being, everything makes sense because we are talking about energy. We're talking about human beings that even if you were in India, Brazil, China, whatever you are, it's the same. It's a path. Like, you need to find like a purpose for life, So for me, it makes all sense about this. And even it's something that it's nice, to join the ancient wisdom with modern science, because when people reach me and they don't know anything about sanatanas, about the Indian culture and all this stuff, we have this other side to explain things and bring them to Sanatanans and understand that it's not separate from us from here in Brazil where I live, right? And for me, it was also something that bring, joy to my heart, because then a lot of things that I asked when I was 7 years old about, why am I here, what I'm supposed to do, where I come from, these answers were being answered. And these questions were being answered, and everything just, appeal a lot for the heart and not for the mind. And that's something that Sanatana brings a lot, right?
Awesome. Now, going back to inviting a spirits baby, the golden education period, and go and all of that, golden period education rather. What has been your experience as a golden period educator, and what would you like to share with us with as far as golden period education is concerned?
Yeah, sure. Um, that's another question that is always very frequent, right? But now more and more couples are coming to me or know my work because of conscious conception. It means that they don't have a baby yet. They are not pregnant yet. So people are starting to see that a cosmic being can be invited and can be heard as well. And I think that until we are actually thinking about this, we have to think about ourselves. So who I am as a woman, as Larissa, as a spouse. Who is I'm giving my example. Who is Mario as a man, as right, as a husband? So like individually, who are we? We have to understand this, and then we are joining as a couple, to bring a life. So the first time is this, because I have a lot of clients that, they have this issue of infertility that I hate this term because I don't think anyone has infertility, you know? So the first thing that I always bring to the couple is there a space for a baby in your life? Because when you see, that schedule, that agendas of the couple, like the woman and the man separately, they are not together anytime. So even we are trying like for a year, 2 years, but they don't even know the cycles, they don't understand what is this, and they are thinking materially about the baby and not what is the connection, the relation, how we can learn and grow a lot before the baby is coming. And I think this is a process that this cosmic being are already interfering in the life of this parent to be. So when we think about, that phrase that at least in Brazil, it's very common that we say that the children are the future of the planet. Okay, but who is bringing these children? We need to hear what are they telling us to do before they are actually here. So it's a very nice opportunity, to this couple actually bring together and remember why are they together, why are they bringing child, and not that answers that are really common that okay, age, or I'm already married, or my parents or these grandpas want to be grandparents, so okay, it's not about this, because it's not about the other person, it's about you and this being that is coming. So what is the relationship that we can already, nurture, and the being's not here yet. So it's something that we are opening in space for this being to be. And of course, they are at every time intercepting all this. I believe a lot that couples like not always together yet, but they start having some curiosity about some themes that they never went to understand or to study before. So I think these guys, these cosmic beings, these babies, are still are already telling these parents to be what they need to learn to receive them. So it's really nice. And in the second plane is about actually opening this space to hear and receive what this being is actually bringing. There, when I was pregnant about Enrique, Babaji told me something so beautiful, and now I bring to every couple that when the child is already 3, 4, 5, or 10, they all the time ask you something because I need this, I want that. And sometimes it's very difficult to the parents to understand that they are giving a lot and the child sometimes not um, receiving it as the parents wants. But then he reminds me that when we were in the preconception time, or even when we were already pregnant, we didn't receive what they were bringing to us. So the first lesson that is the to receive, we didn't get it as well. So now, how the child will receive what we want to give if you didn't receive what they were bringing? And I thought it was amazing because it's another opportunity for us to open our hearts, or open our minds to understand that this is a relationship. It's not about, I will tell you what to do, right? So it's beautiful. At the same time, it's something that we need to have this responsibility of what is to be a parent. So conscious parents start a lot before the child is in your arms, right? So when I'm with the couples, I always remember about this. And some people say, but I don't have, this sensibility, all this stuff. And then I remind them that yes, they have. Because I always give this example that sometimes you wake up thinking about a person that you don't see like 10 years, and then you receive like a calling or a message from this person, and so, oh my God, I don't, how this is happening? And this happened all the time actually. So when you
Right.
start to see the signals, then you see that these babies to come are already sending as well some signals. So it's very nice, to work with this nurturing this relationship before the baby is actually in your arms. That's what
Absolutely.
I'm doing now.
Wonderful, wonderful to hear that. Another aspect is, how has the golden period education helped you as a person and helped you in your career?
Wow, that's a intense intense one. One of the things that I've been through with this second round with Enrique was that when I had the GPE, it's not a graduation, right? But the formation in GPE, I saw that there is a lot of things that if you don't put in practice, you think it's like in something that you can reach. It's so ideal, right? And then when you start actually working with that, when you start actually practicing that, putting that in your life, daily routine, you see that the concepts are there, but you can, integrate in your life in your own style. And that's the best part because it's not something that it's a manual or rules that you have to follow, or if you don't follow, your child will be that or that. It's not about this. So I started to understand that there's a lot of things that we can do. For example, I'm from Brazil. The culture is very different. So how can I bring everything that I learned from Bharata, from Sanatana, and bring this into my life, my practical life. So that's something that showed me that the principles, the concepts are universal, but you can actually, build in your own way, like in your future. And I understand, like a GPE now, that we have this role of responsibility. It's not about trying to make a human being to be like this or to be like that. We need to accept, we need to receive, and we need to work with this child to understand that he or she is an individual as I am. So one of the things that really comes to my mind is that sometimes parents wants to offer to its child something that you didn't have, because your parents, I don't know, didn't have the opportunity to give you. And today I see that, oh my God, that's not what she needs or what she wants. That's something that I wanted when I was a child. So this is really something that comes to conscious as a GPE, and that I keep telling people, see, you have like a unique being in front of you that is revealing something about you, but it's also telling who is this guy, this little guy that is coming, and what you as a parent can do to enhance to its potential, right? Because I see that as a parents, as adults, we are reminding them their potentials, because the society that we live now, they do the opposite, right? They kind of hide this potential, right? So I think this is one of the most important part of the GPE in my life and in my work, to remember this potential, and that my potential is not exactly the same as Olivia, as Enrique, or any other child, right?
Absolutely. That's so very wonderful and lovely to hear as well. Uh, Before I let you go, I'd like to speak about another aspect. There are several people who are possibly thinking of a career as a golden period educator. What would you like to say to them about the golden period of education, and what do you think of a career in GPA?
I think it's the career of the future, right? Because we really need, or we really want to build a universe of peace, or where you don't have, fear to put a child in the world, then that's the best way. Because it's self-knowledge, a lot of self-knowledge, right? Because it's not about the other, it's about you, and then you're going to spread this. So I think it's for the future. And we need to start seeing that what this children needs, it's not what is already here. It's the values and everything. It's I don't know the word in English, but as a GPE, you can see a lot and learn about a lot about yourself, and then understand who is this little guy that is it's coming. And I always say that the couples, the women or men or the child who's coming to you, but in fact, anyone that uh, meet in the road, even it's for 5 minutes, it's remember something about you, what you are, why are you here for. So as a GPA, it's really nice, because then you have this universal purpose. It's not for your children, it's for the world. So of course, if you are doing something for your own child, you want the same for the others, because we're thinking about a community as a humanity, right? So I think it's uh, the future's job. And I think it's something that you are working in yourself, and at the same time, it's giving a possibility for the others as well. It's not something that you are doing only for you, or only for, getting money or that. And it's also brings me a lot of a term that for the parenting journey, I think it's crucial that it's join communities that have the same values, that look at the child as a conscious being and all this stuff. And I think that more than, bringing them only material stuff, they need to understand who they are, why they are here. And I think as a GPE, you have this golden opportunity, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wonderful. Larissa, we'll have to leave it to that. But before we go, I'd like to remind all our viewers that, you can get much more information like this, more stories like this, wonderful place to share, wonderful place to learn about Bharata's ancient knowledge, and also the wisdom passed down by the rishis at Baby on Board, a conference, one of its kind conference on the 10th and the 11th and 12th of November, taking place in the magical land of Hampi. So be there. It's just about a month away, and less than a month away, in fact. So be there to witness the power of ancient Indian knowledge and also the wisdom passed down by the rishis, to understand who your child is, to understand bringing in a spirit child, to understand how you can produce super babies, and much, much more, and to also learn and figure out how you can be better parents, what are some of the challenges that you're facing. Try and get all those questions answered at Baby on Board, which takes place on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of November in the magical land of Hampi. You can also log on to babyonboard.babyleela.com, babyonboard.babyleela.com, to get more information and register for the conference. Larissa, a pleasure speaking to you. It was truly wonderful. Thank you for sharing your heart stories with us, and so beautifully taking us through
Thank
what
you so
GP
much.
is, what it means, and how Sanatana Dharma has played such a crucial, part in your life. Thank you. A real
Yes.
pleasure.
Shivan, thank you.